of this up because she simply doesn't like China.
Start with you.
Your Honor, China was like a best friend to me. I mean, pretty much my sister. We grew up in the same neighborhood. At one point, when I was around 14 years old, my family took her and her family into our home, and I shared my room as well as my own bed with her and two other people. I left
for how long?
It was for a few months. In 2012, I left and moved to Atlanta, and I came back last year in August and reconnected with China, and she was not the same person she was before I left. She was into all types of things like prostituting, hanging with the wrong crowd of people. I just didn't know who she was anymore. I was confused.
When did she become a prostitute?
I don't know exactly when she began doing it. I just know she told me.
Oh, she told you?
With her own mouth, yes.
Excuse me, that is incorrect. I've never told her anything like that.
What were you all discussing when she said that? That does sound... Go ahead.
We hadn't talked in a very long time, so she was just catching me up on things, and she told me that she was doing some stuff that she wasn't so proud of, and I asked her, well, what are those things? And she told me she was prostituting to take care of her son.
On the first instance that you spoke, after how many years?
3 years.
Haven't talked to her in 3 years. China.
Yes.
Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
Talk to you in 3 years. Everything been all right?
Yeah.
What you been up to? Selling it? First thing out of her mouth.
I mean, it's not the first thing out of her mouth. It was just the main thing that caught my attention.
What did you say to her, your friend who said, I'm prostituting myself?
I told her I was upset with her for doing that because she's better than that.
Did you ask her why she was doing that?
She needed to take care of her son and that she was homeless. That is what she told me.
All right, and what was your response?
I told her she needs to do better than that.
All right, you didn't say, I'll try to get you some help?
I couldn't help her.
You don't have anybody to help you? What about your parents? You didn't delve deeper into why and what she should do? Give her some advice other than to say, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yes, I did.
That's not nice.
I did.
That's definitely not true. I wasn't homeless. I wasn't homeless. I had my own place.
You wasn't homeless when you were doing that?
I mean, I wasn't doing that at all.
Oh, okay.
And the fact that she said that I was homeless, that's why I was doing it, and I needed money to take care of my son, it's a lie. It makes no sense. I had my own place, and I was raising my baby just fine.
Why do you think she's making this up?
Because she doesn't like me anymore, and we got into it. We've been friends for a while, and we've got into it a couple times. The first time we got into it was when her and a group of girls had jumped me and my sister, which was in 2011.
That's incorrect.
But the reason, I didn't even know it was her until about a month later when we talked on the phone and stuff, and she had told me. And the reason she said she jumped in is because her family said, you know, if your family's fighting or your cousin's fighting, you're jumping in too.
You all do a lot of confessing to each other of the wrong things. This time, she didn't tell you she jumped on you at first, but then a couple months later, here she go with that call again. China! What you done? Doing nothing, just tending to these bruises. Girl, I just called to tell you that was me that jumped on you. I know you don't really know, but I jumped on you and beat the devil out of you. I hope that's all right. Is that how that went?
When we spoke on the phone, it was when, because I kept saying she didn't jump in, you know, I was convinced, like, no, she didn't. She wouldn't do that. And then when we did have a conversation, she was around a bunch of people, and they were just yelling. So it was more like an argument saying, yeah, she did jump in, and the reason why she jumped in and stuff. But I had forgave her because I know how her family is. Like, if they're into it with somebody, you know, that's her family. She's got to be in it too. So I forgave her, which I shouldn't have forgave her because she turned on me then just like she's turning on me now by bringing me to court.
All right, let's hear about the check you're suing her for, the bounce check.
I was at work and she was there and we got to chit-chatting. She told me she'd had she'd had this check that she told me she sold her car for. she didn't have a bank account. She needs to put it in a bank account. And I says, well, my bank is next door. She says, well, can I put it in your bank account? And I said, sure. I didn't question her. I've known her since I was 13, 14.
Once again, she's telling
so
us.
Let her finish.
And so from that point, I said, well, just let me take a break, and we can go over there and talk to my accountant together. And she says, well, no, I'm going to put it in the ATM.
Your accountant?
Yeah, well, banker. Sorry.
Oh. I mean, you might walk around with your accountant. All right, you may have enough money. That's how the super rich do it. They have their accountant nearby at all times. Somebody asks them for some money, they say, do I have that? Write to the check. Super rich do it.
But yes, so she says, no, I'm going to put it into the ATM. It's faster that way. And so I says, okay. She puts it in through the ATM. The next day the check clears, and she comes and picks me up from my apartment. We go to my bank. They get the money out, give her money, and, you know, we go our separate ways, send her a few texts telling her, you know, don't be a stranger, yada. So then I called to check my account a week later, and it said that my account was overdrafted for the amount of her check, which I have here.
Don't go away. There's more Judge Mathis after this.
So when she got kicked out of treatment and got thrown into jail, then I was dating a lesbian who was in jail. And
he tried to convert me, Your Honor.
So needless to say, you know, it didn't work out the greatest, but we tried.
And still to come.
We talked here and there.
Okay, because you said don't be a stranger. That
Yeah.
implied that you all hadn't been in communication much, and she just showed up on your job and said, hey, go downstairs and cash this check. And you said, okay.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, she had beat you out your money. All right. I grew up in Detroit, and I'm proud of where I come from. It's a tough city, but there's a lot of love here. And I carry that China.
Yes.
Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you?
Talk to you in 3 years. Things been all right?
Yeah.
What you been up to? Selling it?
Plaintiff Unique Bunch was friends with the defendant, and she claims the defendant confessed that she was working as a prostitute.
How long had it been prior to you cashing her check? Had you spoken with her?
I spoke with her. We talked here and there.
Okay,
Yeah.
because you said don't be a stranger. That
Yeah.
implied that you all hadn't been in communication much, and she just showed up on your job and said, hey, go downstairs and cash this check. And you said, okay.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, she had beat you out your money. All right. And ma'am, what do you say to this?
Okay, I was going to Myers because my friend was gonna cash the check for me because I didn't have a bank account. And when I get up there, I see Unique up there, and we say hi and we chatted up because yeah, she was at work. And then she told me to come here and ask what I was doing, and I let her know like I'm trying to cash my check. I don't have a bank account. And then she was like, oh, I'll do it for you. And then she's like, my bank's right here. And then I'm like, are you sure it's okay? Like, it's fine, you don't have to. I have someone going to do it for me. And it's just like, no, I'll do it for you because I don't know who that is, but I don't want anybody to, like, you know, get down on you. And I'm like, okay, sure. So she waits a minute, she takes her break, she goes and puts it in the ATM. She said that she'll let me know if it clears and that she'll shoot me some texts and she'll call me and all that stuff. And I even have the text message saying that she didn't do that because she wanted money. She did it because because she wanted to. She offered to do it, so I let her.
All right. Now what? About
So
it bouncing.
Excuse me?
Doesn't matter who offered and who requested. Right. It's about bouncing. It's about...
So then a week later she texts me and says it bounced, and I'm like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, well, I'll give you all the guy's information because she asked for it. So I gave her all the guy's information and stuff, and she couldn't get in contact with him.
That's enough, man.
She couldn't get in contact with him just like I couldn't because I was trying to figure out what was going on too. Just like that check bounce, apparently I was scammed too.
What would she tell you when you asked?
When the day that I called her and told her the check bounced, she said, she said she was surprised. She was like, that's stupid, I'm sorry.
Did she pledge to pay you?
No, she never once offered to help me pay it. And she kept giving me the runaround. And I says, well, I need all this person's information because I have to go and file a police report. All she sent me was an email address and told me to email him and ask him for a job. well, why am I emailing a car salesman and
What about
asking
the
him for
guy
a job?
who gave you the check?
Yeah, the guy who gave me the check, I was still trying to get in contact with him, figure out when I'm supposed to meet up so I could start
So you
work.
were never able to find him?
Yeah, I could never get in touch with him just like she couldn't.
All right, well, you need to try and find him because you're going to pay for him. The law is that you're jointly and severally liable. She can sue one or both of you. She's chosen to sue you today, and because you handed it to her, she didn't know him, and therefore I'm granting you the judgment. And when you find him, you can sue him and get your money back. But you'll find him now, I bet you. Judgment for the plaintiff.
People shouldn't get fake checks and put them in people's bank accounts.
People shouldn't offer to put checks into their own
People
account.
shouldn't lie. People should get their lives together, and I don't appreciate what she did. Justice was served, and I thank Judge Mathis for that.
Plaintiff Carly Bevergal was addicted to heroin for 5.5 years, and that's when she met the defendant. Carly claims once, while hanging out with the defendant, she overdosed, and the defendant saved her life. And she's now been clean for 16 months. However, Carly's suing the defendant today for unpaid loans. Defendant Corey Wendt says when he revived Carly after her overdose, it was extremely eye-opening for him. Corey claims after Carly overdosed, he worked on her for 7 minutes to bring her back to life. But unfortunately, he then relapsed a year ago after his twin passed away.
Start with you.
All right, first I just want to say I'm very grateful to be here today. Your story has really inspired me in the battles that I've faced in my life. I used to be addicted to heroin. I was addicted for over 5.5 years. During that time, I had moved out to Wisconsin. I had met Corey. Became a really good friend. He was doing well in sobriety. We went to meetings together. Unfortunately, I wasn't really ready to get clean at the time, so I was involved in a lot of illegal activity, prescription fraud, different things. And I was still using. He had invited me to spend time with his family, and I had used behind his back at Christmas time. I overdosed, and he actually saved my life.
Ooh.
Yeah. I had no breath and no pulse for several minutes.
So, and how did he?
He did CPR.
CPR?
Mm-hmm.
Did that stop you?
Well, it scared me, so I went to treatment right after that.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I ended up getting arrested in treatment, but it probably ended up being for the best.
You didn't relapse after that?
I used it a few times after that. Yeah. So once I went to jail, it just gave me a lot of time to reflect and to just go over my life and to see that, I'd lost everything from my addiction. I had a government job. I dropped out of college. I lost my family. And so I was able to finally reflect and make a change, and I've almost been clean for 16 months now.
Good. Good.
Stay tuned. The case continues after this.
That's the first sign of recovery, is for those who are recovering from drug or alcohol addiction, is that they are honest. When they start out lying, they're not in recovery. Still doing either that or they still have their dope fiend ways. Crackish ways, alcoholic ways, heroin ways.
And later.
And that could be entirely true. However, did you borrow the money? She can sue when she wants. She can do it because she's mad. She can forgive the debt if she's happy. But she was mad. So tell me about that part.
I am a recovering heroin addict.
He threatened me, and I do have the recording.
Family member who owes you money or has wronged you. If you're currently suing or thinking about filing a lawsuit, call 1-888-VERDICT or visit us online at judgemathisTV.com.
I was still using. He had invited me to spend time with his family, and I had used behind his back at Christmas time. I overdosed, and he actually saved my life. Yeah. I had no breath and no pulse for several minutes.
Plaintiff Carly Bevergal was friends with the defendant, and he claims he brought her back to life after she overdosed on heroin.
That's the upside of a good judge. Went to rehab in jail and changed your life.
That's right.
Then you saw another judge you thought inspired you to change your life, so you say, in me. On that note, I have a young lady in here today. She came before me when I was a judge at 36th District Court in Detroit, and She said I inspired her because I gave her, I guess, a second chance, if you will, and she went to the same undergrad university I attended, Eastern Michigan. She went to the same law school I attended, and she has passed the bar, and now she's a lawyer. Give her a hand. Say hi. All right. So, tell me about yourself, sir. We're glad you were able to rescue her, and tell me about yourself.
Well, I had gone through my addiction phase when I was younger, and we met, and I invited her down to my family's place for Christmas, and I didn't know she was using at the time, and she died on Christmas Day, and I worked on her for about 7.5 minutes and brought her back, and you know, it was eye-opening, and you know, we were already friends, but to have somebody die on your mom's couch and then rip them over the couch and work on them and then miss Christmas dinner was even more eye-opening. So she decided she wanted to go to treatment, and I supported her through that, and she went to treatment, and in the interim we had, you know, done some talking and decided that maybe we were going to try dating. So when she got kicked out of treatment and got thrown into jail, then not only was I, you know, probably dating somebody who I should have gotten to know a little better, but I was dating a lesbian who was in jail. And
he tried to convert me, Your Honor.
You were already lesbian when he tried to begin dating you.
Yeah.
And he couldn't.
No.
Go ahead.
So needless to say, you know, it didn't work out the greatest, but we tried. And so while she was in jail, she was in for, you know, quite a stretch, and while she was in, my twin passed in a motorcycle accident, and that was last year. So I relapsed, and I found that the bottom of a bottle was a good place to begin my relapse and then end and continue. So I stayed at the bottom of a bottle, got hurt at work, and was on work comp, and decided I needed some money for rent. So I borrowed some money from Miss Bevergill.
Okay, and that's what we're here for, the money. You're suing $550. Are you in recovery now?
Yes.
Sounds like you are. If you're going to admit like that, that's the first sign of recovery, is for those who are recovering from drug or alcohol addiction, is that they are honest. That's the first sign. I do owe money, or I did borrow money. That's the first sign. When they start out lying, they're not in recovery. Still doing either that, or they still have their dope fiend ways, crackish ways, alcoholic ways, heroin ways. If they really committed to recovery, that's one of the first things they teach you in recovery. Am I right or wrong? Is honesty and repairing the damage you've done, if you can, to others, right?
That's right.
All right, so let's see where he is on that step. Let's start with you about the loan.
All right, while I was incarcerated, Corey had kind of fallen off the wagon a little bit, as he mentioned. He was going through a lot of money troubles. He was about to lose his apartment, numerous other things. So I made a series of loans. We were good friends. I didn't think that he would ever not pay me back, and especially after what he had done for me, I was very grateful. So I made the series of loans, and I told him, you know, if you can't pay me back by the time I get out in September, then we'll figure out, you know, a promissory note or whatever. So he was able to make one payment of $300. However, he has not paid me anything else since. And we signed the promissory note stating he would give me about $100 per month, and he never did.
Stay tuned. The verdict next. And coming up on Judge Mathis.
He was like a little brother to me. My friend had a little brother. I didn't have one, so I made Damien my little brother. He could fight. We used to make kids fight on the block when we were younger. He was tough. He wanted to fight. The kicker was he would do this Mr. Miyagi crane karate kick on the kid and bow. And I was like, that's my little brother.
Follow me on Facebook, Twitter.
We met, and I invited her down to my family's place for Christmas, and I didn't know she was using at the time, and she died on Christmas Day, and I worked on her for about 7.5 minutes and brought her back, and you know, it was eye-opening.
Plaintiff Carly Bevergill was friends with the defendant, and he claims he brought her back to life after she overdosed on heroin.
Did it happen like that?
It happened like that, but you know, when she got out of jail, I was in the midst of my relapse and going full force, and shortly thereafter, I ended up going to jail because I was on probation at the time due to some things that I had done previously for my drinking. You know, apparently when your probation officer says you're not allowed to drink and then you drink, she doesn't get happy with it, and she doesn't think it's funny that you were arrested in a toga. So all that being said, she wasn't happy. So I did 67 days in jail and got out wearing the same toga, and then I went back to my place and decided I probably shouldn't be here. So I made it with my landlord that I would move closer to my parents and start back fresh. So by the time I got up to my parents, trying to talk to Carly about my money problems, there had been quite a bit of time that had gone by where I couldn't make any payment to her, and she wasn't hearing it anymore. She'd already heard enough excuses, and
that's what you're hoping today? She might give you a little more time? Ma'am, is that what you don't
I think
want
that's
to give
what
him
he's
more
hoping,
time?
but,
That's what he's hoping, but you can't give it, and I
Yeah.
can't grant it if she won't give it, sir. So I have to order you to pay now. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day, folks.
I'm going to go home. And my guess is you're going to go home, and hopefully you can give me a call and we can try to be friends and not ever try to date again.
I would like to be friends, for sure. I'm still grateful to him. And, I know at the time that he was in active addiction, and that's where it came into play. So I forgive him.
All right. Good luck. Thanks a lot.
Plaintiff Kim Busher says the defendant is her niece, but because she lived most of her life out of state, Kim didn't get to see her grow up. Kim claims she gave the defendant a loan, but she has yet to be repaid. Defendant Susan Mages says the only reason she's in court is because Kim is blackmailing her. Susan claims Kim didn't start asking for this money until after Susan had her father, Kim's brother, arrested for brutally assaulting her, and Kim bailed him out of jail. Therefore, Susan refuses to pay Kim anything.
All right, start with you.
Well, I'm here with my niece, Susan, because a little bit about our background. We're from a small family, and she's my brother's daughter. And she's lived out of state most of her life, so I didn't get to see her grow up. But in the last 3 or 4 years, she moved close to me, and she has a baby, so we got a lot closer then. And she's asked me multiple times to borrow money from me, and I've given it to her, and she always paid me back. But this time she borrowed money, and she agreed to make payments to me, and she made 5 payments, and then she stopped making payments.
What was the total amount loaned and the total amount repaid thus far?
It started out at $1,255.
She made 5 payments toward that?
Yes.
$1,255. And then she made 5 payments?
Yes.
And do you have a list of those payments there?
Yes.
And how much they were?
Yes.
Let's see them, please. And the agreement was she would have them paid off when and how?
Well, she was going to make $100 payments every 2 weeks on her payday, and she made 2 payments of $100, and then they went way down.
More of Judge Mathis in a moment.
My mother and my 2-year-old daughter witnessed my father kick me in the face. He was immediately arrested and jailed. She is the one that actually bonded him out.
But what does this have to do with this loan?
She said that the time you began your lawsuit was the exact date that your brother was sentenced.
I am a recovering heroin addict.
You threatened me, and I do have the recording.
I'll beat the you. You were threatening to beat her like a dope fiend.
Next. If you're in Chicago and would like to attend a taping of the Judge Mathis Show, call us at 1-866-3-MATHIS. Defendant Susan Mages says her father is the plaintiff's brother, and Susan claims after he brutally assaulted her, he went to jail, and the plaintiff bailed him out.
Ma'am?
Your Honor, I would like to, of course, agree to the fact that, yes, we was very close until this incident had took place. I feel...
The loan incident or what?
No, sir. I feel the reason we are here today, it's more or less blackmail. I feel...
Blackmail, extortion?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, Your Honor. There was an incident that took place in January of 2015 where I was brutally assaulted by my father, her brother.
What does this have to do with this?
This has everything to do with this because there was no problem about this money until this incident with my father. My father brutally assaulted me in January.
It has nothing to do with this.
It has everything to do with this.
Why, ma'am?
The day that she filed this lawsuit against me was the day that he was sentenced. She is doing this, I feel, out of revenge and anger. She's furious with me.
Because you wouldn't pay me back.
Because I would not dismiss.
Why did your father assault you?
He is a drug addict who is addicted to pain medication, and I had had a prior surgery. And
that's not my fault.
Hold on, ma'am.
So he was...
You had pain medication.
Because I had a prior nose surgery. And he was insisting upon me giving him my medicine, which I refused to do so because I was in extreme amount of pain. So that's when he assaulted me.
Where were you all at?
In my residence.
Wow. Who was there? Who else was there?
My mother and my 2-year-old daughter witnessed my father kick me in the face. He was immediately arrested and jailed. He spent, a couple months at the county jail. She is the one that actually bonded him out.
But what does this have to do with this loan?
She said that the time you began your lawsuit was the exact date that your brother was sentenced. That's why she believes you're retaliating against her. How long ago did she accuse you of owing, though?
It began after the incident with my father in January.
That's the first time you ever heard?
She began begging and pleading that I dismiss the charges against him. I was not going to dismiss those charges. I felt I was brutally assaulted.
I got that. I'm asking, when did she first ask for you to give her the money that she is suing you for?
Right after
the whole time
occurred.
Right after. Hold on, ma'am.
She wanted the money to bond him out.
And when was your father sentenced?
He was actually sentenced on June 11th.
And that's when she filed the lawsuit. That's when she filed it?
Yes, John.
June 11th.
Yes.
And the incident occurred January 15th?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So she waited 6 months. However, she was asking you for it as of January 15th. And since you didn't give it to her prior to sentencing, at sentencing is the same day she sued you.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because you didn't let him off.
Yes.
All right, and that could be entirely true. However, did you borrow the money? She can sue when she wants. She can do it because she's mad. She can forgive the debt if she's happy. But she was mad. So tell me about that part.
Yes, Your Honor. She did help me out with money. She's always helped me with money in the past.
When? How much money did she help you out with? Yes, ma'am.
She handed me $900 in cash.
All right. She's suing you for $955, and you've never given her any money back on that.
Yes, I
all right. How much?
I gave $100 once or twice. I did pay her $20 here and there.
The agreement was Thursday, 205 gift card, Walmart, $900. She shows that cash, and $150 interest. Why didn't you have her sign it, ma'am? You have anything that she has signed?
No, I do not. I have
and $150 out of 1,000. That means it's how much interest?
15%.
50%?
It was her.
15%. All right, that's fair. That's right below loan sharking.
But that was her.
Right below. You went to the mob and said, what is loan sharking? And they said 18%. So you said, well, I don't want to be a loan shark, so I'm going to charge 15% since the mob charges 18%.
Sir.
Yes?
That was her idea, not mine.
All right.
Don't go away. More of Judge Mathis is coming up.
I talk a little bit better than the rest of the people around me, so they call me the closer.
Right, the closer. That's right.
I'm a better closer than most of the people around me, so I've got us the ladies. You know, when it comes to the ladies, I brought the ladies around.
He brings the weed.
I don't even smoke no more, Your Honor.
Me either, Your Honor. This is this is when we.
Defendant Susan Mages says her father is the plaintiff's brother, and Susan claims after he brutally assaulted her, he went to jail, and the plaintiff bailed him out.
She was to pay in what intervals?
She told me $100 every 2 weeks.
Okay. And let's look at when she paid. Okay. She paid $100. Then 2 weeks later, You gave her another $100. Your judgment is granted. I believe you based on the repayment that she admits. Judgment for the plaintiff. I'm glad you're well healed. Are you healed totally?
Not entirely, Your Honor. I have a doctor's appointment next week to go to for a checkup.
Okay. Your dad, what's his deal?
He is currently in a rehabilitation facility.
All right. Have you forgiven him? Now
No,
he's
Your Honor.
checked in?
No.
Why? He's checked in.
I don't feel he's sorry whatsoever.
All right, then. Good luck to you. Judgment for the plaintiff.
I don't feel like there's anything to say.
You're going to live a miserable life, not being able to forgive and forget anybody. Your dad did apologize.
You never once asked me if I was okay during
Yes,
any
I
of
did.
it. You was never there for me. All you was worried about was getting him out of jail.
No, I wasn't.
Yes.
No, I wasn't. You owed me the money and you know it.
Plaintiff Johnny Mays says he and the defendant grew up on the same block, and they've been friends for 33 years. Johnny claims as they grew older, they would chase women. And although Johnny is the more handsome of the two, the defendant got all the ladies. Johnny's suing him for a refund on a car. Defendant Damian Amos says Johnny was like a big brother to him, and the first time he ever smoked marijuana was with Johnny. Damian denies owing Johnny, and he's countersuing for slander because he claims Johnny badmouthed him and said he was a bad businessman.
Start with you.
Oh, Your Honor, I want to give you a little background about me and my friend over here, Damian Amos. We grew up on the same block. I knew him for about 33 years. He was like a little brother to me. My friend had a little brother. I didn't have one, so I made Damian my little brother. He could fight. We used to make kids fight on the block when we were younger. And we would make them wrestle around and fight, you know. And what the kicker was, he was tough. He won the fight. The kicker was he would do this Mr. Miyagi crane karate kick on the kid and bow. And I was like, that's my little brother. We got a little older. We chased women together. You can say I'm the most handsome one out the two, but he used to get all the ladies.
Who can say that?
I say.
You said you can say. No, I can't say.
No, you can't say. Well,
I could, but go ahead.
Well, I think I'm the more handsome out the two. But he used to get all the ladies. He used to get all the ladies. I don't know how he would get it with his line of BS. You know, he'll tell them anything. Yeah, I'm Biggie Smalls or something like that. I'm from Compton. You know, I was playing the role as Suge Knight in NWA.
You tell me with Dr. Dre, that would have got you a lot of action.
I'm not that quick on my feet like he is, Your Honor.
Give me some background, sir, before we get to the lawsuit.
I've been knowing John 25 plus.
33 years.
John is basically, I mean, he like my big brother. You know what I mean? He used to cut my hair. You know what I'm saying? John is the first person I smoked marijuana with in my life.
How old?
About 13, 14 years old. You know? I can remember one time when, you know, he got me high. We smoked some weed. He's some of the best stuff I ever smoked in my life. And he was cutting my hair at the same time. And it's gonna say it didn't turn out right, and he don't cut my hair no more. Never again has he cut my hair again. You know, I talk a little bit better than the rest of the people around me, so they call me the closer.
Right, the closer. That's right.
I'm a better closer than most of the people around me, so I've got us the ladies. You know, when it comes to the ladies, I brought the ladies around.
He brings the weed.
I don't even smoke no more, Your Honor.
Me either, Your Honor. This is when we was younger.
So let's get to the refund on the car you're suing him for.
Well, basically, I wanted to. Damian had a car for sale for $2,500, $2,000 cash. He agreed to take payments. I made him 4 installments, $500 or what I could give at that time. I made.
How often?
I told him I can pay him every month because I can pay him once a month. Okay. So I paid him 3 payments of $500, September, October, and November. Then I paid him a payment of $400 in January. Didn't have the whole $500, but he took it. February come around, I can't find Damian. No one knows where Damien. I don't know where Damien at. I'm asking where he's at. He lives. I know where he lives. Where the car's at. It's on the block. So I see the car. I'm not really tripping. The car's still there. So, but I just can't get a hold of him. I'm finding out that Damien had moved to Texas. And now when I go by the house where the car was sitting, it was gone. So I'm asking, where's my car at? I can't ask him, but I know his family. Where's my car at? I know some guys in the neighborhood. I finally get in contact with him. He finally admits he doesn't have the car anymore. He's going to start refunding me my money. He makes me a payment.
That's not true.
He makes me a payment, and I think it was July of 2013. He paid a phone bill for $60 when he came up from Texas. He came up from Texas again 2 months later, made another $60 payment.
We'll be right back. And on the next, Judge Mathis.
I am a recovering heroin addict.
He threatened me, and I do have the recording.
I'll beat the out of you. You were threatening to beat her like a dope fiend.
Next. Is your ex denying he fathered your child and you want a paternity test? Call 1-888-VERDICT or visit us online at www.judgemathisTV.com. Plaintiff Johnny Mays is suing his former friend, who claims the first time he ever smoked marijuana was with Johnny.
Let me ask him what happened, sir.
Okay.
Charged $2,800 for the car.
That's not true.
He gave me $1,200 altogether. 3 years has went past, and you notice how nobody's talking about the rest of the money. You know, I was supposed to receive maybe $1,600 more dollars. Didn't receive payment.
He said he wanted to pay you and he couldn't find you. He said when he came to pay you more, he couldn't find you or the car.
At the beginning, I mean, when he first made the payments, things that happened with him where he got incarcerated or was on house arrest, so I couldn't find him. So, you know, it was a search and doubt. But we did get in contact. I let him know where the car was and with the keys.
When?
Maybe around a little later, about March 2012. Maybe March, April, May of 2012.
And what was discussed?
It was discussed that, I mean, he could go get the car. But, you know, I was wondering about any other payments that was supposed to come about because the car could have been.
Did he tell you he had been looking for you?
He did. I told him I had been looking for him also. So we've been looking for each other.
Okay, you didn't know where he was?
I mean, I wasn't able to talk to him. I mean, I've been trying to call him because I still needed the money. So I have.
You know where he lived?
I did know. No, I was in Texas though. The whole thing of the process for him helping me out was I was finna leave in some months coming up.
He knew you when you.
He knew I was going to leave.
Okay, and he knew how to contact you after you left.
Like I said,
all right. Your counterclaim is $1,000. How does he owe you, sir?
For slandering my name.
You know, what has he done to your name?
I'm still a businessman, and I still we you know, through the grapevine, through the same people, around the same people. People are coming up to me, telling me I'm bad business or whatever wise. I mean, and I'm not saying that he never gave me the money. What I'm saying was in 3 years, you know, we could have got this situated, you know, and it wasn't all my fault why I didn't get situated, because I made calls just like he made calls, and you know I had to pay storage fees. You know,
I paid you $1,900.
I don't hear the slander. What are you saying he slandered you for, sir?
I'm saying within, you know, I still sell cars within my neighborhood, and I still, you know, cable or whatever.
All right, and what did he tell him? He paid you and he didn't get a car?
Right, no.
Yeah, that's true. That ain't a slander. That's true. He paid you money and didn't get a car.
No, he's saying I did bad business, and I really didn't.
You did do bad business. He paid you and you didn't get a car.
It might be a couple cuss words, and I'm going to warn you right now. It's a little ebonics.
So, man, can I get my car or start paying me something out of $1,900 that I gave you? Your response, got you, bruh. Pay you on payday.
No, but
yeah, I'm reading it. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you. Oh, we still friends now?
That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? We never let money get in between brothers.
And I wanted him to know that. So you should have called me when I was contacting you and not let you come not see your nephew and not see me over that small change.
I dodged you for the money. See, it's a lot of stuff you didn't get it. I gave money to me. You know? But it's okay. It's okay. Never do business with you again. But
okay, don't.
my brother.
Please don't.